So, Tanya, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us.
You're welcome.
Free Lunch Podcast. I could give my own spill, but I wouldn't do it any justice. Just a blurb intro of who you are. But our audience is filled with a plethora of different entrepreneurs, either full-time or still working for the man and doing their entrepreneur thing on the side. And so they're always interested in to know who are the people and what has made them unique or interesting enough to appear on the show.
Okay.
So maybe just share a quick blurb just with the audience about, who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay. So again, I'm LaTonya Daniels-Jackson. I am the owner of Only One Touch Beauty Experts in New Haven, Connecticut.
Only one.
Only One Touch. And that's a whole nother story how I got that name.
Yeah.
But I'm also a certified life coach, and I do natural hair. So I service clients who are either transitioning from relaxers or who refuse to use relaxers.
Yeah.
And we do all types of protective styles. I'm an expert in actually extensions on natural hair. I also mentor young beauty professionals. That's my favorite part. And I'm actually looking to open up a transitional school from the cosmetology school to behind the chair real soon.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, and I'm an author too. I'm an author.
Yes. What's the name of the book?
So I'm a co-author.
First time?
Yes.
Author?
Actually, it's my second anthology.
Okay.
And this one is called I can't remember it.
You're trying to remember the first one, or
The first one I actually don't remember. It didn't do very well.
Okay. It was like your first time trying.
My first time ever.
Okay.
Yeah, being involved.
Like many of the first times we try.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
We don't know.
But the second one is I think it's called Outliving the Labels. Outlive the Labels. That's what it's called.
And how many other authors were part of this?
There are 10 other authors.
Wow.
Yes. And this one was really good.
From all different backgrounds?
All different backgrounds, all different stories.
All
women.
female authors?
It's women.
All women.
Women.
Okay.
And they share their testimony briefly in the story. So in the book. So I was actually offered to do the anthology for free because it costs to be in the anthology, but I had the opportunity to speak on a panel with the actual author, and she offered the opportunity to do it for free. So I jumped in on that because I plan on finishing my own book soon, by the summer, prayerfully.
Okay. Have you started writing?
Yes, I have. Actually, I started writing in 2012.
Oh, so you got notes already?
Yeah, I got notes.
So you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything is timing. But I got back working on it. I'm working on it now, and I'm prayerfully will be done by July.
Yes.
So
now, when you say timing, only because I know certain key terms that we hear in the industry of entrepreneurship a lot mean so many different things to different people.
Right.
And timing is one of those words. For you, when you say timing, what are you really saying when you say that?
So, I'm saying
hey,
two
this
things.
has been held up, or I haven't done this book yet.
Right.
Due to timing.
So I'm saying two things. I'm saying part of it is being consumed with other things. The other part of it is feeling like there's more that needs to go into the book that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay.
So at least that's how I feel. I feel like maybe there's a few things that I need to add in that hasn't transpired yet.
What makes you feel that way?
Because it feels like it almost feels unfinished in a sense. Even though I've accomplished quite a bit, and it may be enough to finish it up. It's just so much more that I have to do. So I don't know. Maybe that means it's going to be a second part. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like if you've been working on this thing since 2012.
I know.
I'd imagine from 2012 to now, so much has actually happened though already.
Yes, a lot.
And so I'm leaning towards more thinking that it just might be a part 2 for you. I mean, just because it's so much of your journey would have transpired by now.
Right.
From 2012.
And it has.
Yeah.
It has. A lot has happened. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's
now,
why.
In 2012, did you already have own your own salon?
So no. 2012, I graduated from cosmetology school in Atlanta, Georgia. And that is the year that I actually moved back to Connecticut.
Okay.
I did not have my license yet. I was supposed to take my test in Atlanta, but I didn't. God told me to go back home now. So I came back home with nothing, just education, which was confusing because in Atlanta, that's the hair mecca. Like, why would I leave Atlanta to come back to Connecticut? That doesn't make any sense. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is that I actually got into a salon before I started cosmetology school. So I had relationship with a salon owner with plans of me going back to her salon. And one of my my college roommate, my freshman year in college, my roommate lived in Atlanta and was also a hairstylist, had her own salon.
Wow.
So it just made sense to me. It was girl, get that license, go work in one of them shops and get your bread. But nothing was working out after I finished. Nothing. I mean, nothing was coming together. So I'm like, well,
and when you say nothing coming together, I mean like none of those places were giving you an opportunity? Like,
no. I mean, it just wasn't. I went back for the opportunity. I can't even remember exactly what happened, but well, I could tell you this. When I went to fill out the application for my old roommate, I felt like I'm not supposed to be working for no one. Like, I'm not supposed to be working.
Okay.
That's just how I felt. But I don't despise small beginnings. So it wasn't like I was like, oh no, I know too much. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just a feeling of, nah. So actually, I never went back for the second interview. And it was like, she never called. And we're friends. We're cool now. It just was like, no. And then I was struggling with that. That go back home to Connecticut. Go back home.
I bet there's quite a number of listeners hearing you say that have not gone back for the second interview. Like I'm destined to not work for someone.
Yeah, it just didn't feel. Now, of course, logically, it makes sense. You just graduated from school.
Yeah.
She's been doing this for years. Go work under her. Get some. Know what I mean? But something in me was like, no. And I guess it was because I had to go back home anyway. It was, I had to go back home.
So how long before back home did you actually have your first salon?
When I got back home, I got home in 2012, and I opened up my salon in 2016.
Okay.
End of 2015, 2016.
So for 4 years, what were you doing?
Working out of my house.
Oh, okay. So you were still doing hair.
Yeah. So I did, when I moved back here, I moved back into my mother's and my father's apartment. Mm-hmm. Grown as heck with a with a 10, 11-year-old. And I did run into a friend who lived in the neighborhood and had a salon downtown. So she was like, if you want to come, work in the shop with me, while in the meantime until you get your license, come on. So I went and I worked with her. And then I eventually, maybe 6 months later, I went and took my actual and got my license.
Okay.
But that wasn't working out. I wasn't making really no money. And I was expected to pay booth rent. So my sister, one of my sisters,
rent.
Yeah, the booth rent. The
dreadful booth rent. Killer of all entrepreneur aspirations.
Yes, I'm like, oh God, I'm grown, so I can't.
With a kid,
I can't be making pennies and giving you all my money. That
while I'm trying to get out my mama house.
Okay, didn't make sense. Wow. So my baby sister allowed me to work out of her apartment.
Okay.
So once I
Not even your apartment.
No, I didn't have one.
You ain't got no apartment.
I was still
you working out of
living
somebody.
at home.
You working out of somebody else's
I
apartment.
was struggling.
I am dying.
I was struggling, and I felt like my clientele wasn't really growing. You know,
I feel like, is that where I came across you with my girls when you were in Hamden?
yeah,
And it was a house?
That was my
That was your sister's place?
No, that was my place.
Okay, that was your place.
So I was doing
Okay.
here at my sister's place. I saved my money, and then I moved into my first apartment.
Okay, all right.
And then I made my dining room
Wow.
a salon. Yes.
I had no idea of that whole backstory.
Yep. I sure did.
Look at that.
Yep. And then I moved to Henry Street and made the second, what I had, 3 bedroom. I made the 3rd bedroom a salon.
Wow.
And by then I had 2 kids. So my oldest had his own
You turned
room.
a bedroom into a salon.
I turned that bedroom into a salon. I sure did.
Wow. Was there any like apprehension to doing that out of a house? Like, did you have, because like there's some people, they have such a big dream and vision for what they want to do. Anything short of that is like a turnoff,
Yeah.
or a hindrance that stops them and freezes them.
I
Because they're like,
totally
hey, I don't
understand.
want people to talk about me. I'm gonna look like it's ghetto. It's not. I'm gonna look like I'm not perfect. Any of that went through your head?
No. And the funny thing is, I actually never wanted to have a hair salon. Like that's not, I was very, very specific with God when I said, I'll work in somebody's salon. I will be a manager, but I didn't want a salon because I didn't want the responsibility. Even though I felt like in my gut that I was going to get more, I knew I was going to have more, but I didn't really want it. So I was all right. I was making my money, keeping all my money, doing real good. And my clientele was booming.
Yeah.
I was booming. And I didn't have to pay nobody, no overhead, nothing. I liked it. But
And so you never felt any degree of like shame or less than.
No.
You didn't do like the compare yourself with other people,
Not at
other
all.
salon, because at this point you know other salon owners
Yeah.
that do have their own storefronts or buildings
Yep.
at this point.
Yep.
And you weren't intimidated by any of that.
No, I didn't. Nope. I was just doing me. I had tunnel vision. Like I was really trying to figure out, first of all, I was back in Connecticut where I did not want to be. And I was trying to figure out where was God taking me because nothing made sense. So I just had tunnel vision because I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know.
What were some of the biggest supporters around you during that time?
I have to say my sister, one, for letting me work out of her house.
And what sister is this?
Nikki.
Nikki. Okay.
Nikki let me work out of her house in the tray.
Shout out to Nikki.
Shout out to the Nikki in the tray. So she really that was big of her to let me let strangers come in and out of her home with her own children staying there. So that was one. My parents too. They helped me because when I moved back, I didn't have no money. I didn't have no job.
You was dead broke.
Yeah, I was done. When I say start over. I start from scratch.
Did the reason why you felt God told you to come to Connecticut in the first place, at what point, what amount of time passed once you got to Connecticut did the reason start to come into focus? Or like, what was that? Like what was the turning point where you had the aha moment?
I'm not sure when the aha moment came because how can I say it? I was depressed when I first moved, when I first came back. Or I felt like, why am I here? And then I'm working. You know what it might have been? When I got my first salon, when I got the salon. And I realized that what I was doing, nobody was doing here. And I had to bring what I learned in Atlanta to Connecticut.
Yeah.
So it had to be then.
Okay.
When I started getting like the stylists to come and work for me, I actually had to teach them like how to do black hair, natural hair.
Yeah.
Because they went to school and did not know.
Wow.
So I said, well, dang, if I didn't go and have that experience, how would they have learned? Yeah.
I had a discussion with someone recently. We're talking about, there's no growth without discomfort, right? For you, I imagine at this point in your journey, this is now your second salon that you're at now?
So I moved from Dixwell to Middletown Avenue. So I'm in the second location.
Second location. I imagine you're still growing.
Yes.
There's still growth left on your journey.
Yep.
For you, what do you feel right now is your biggest point of discomfort in your growing journey? Like, where are you feeling the biggest growing pains? Like, is it with, self-confidence in the I can do this salon ownership thing? Probably not. But, is it that? Is it the, maintaining the tunnel vision you had in your infancy of not comparing yourself to other people and how fast they're growing or how large they're growing? Like, where do you feel like I have growth to do right there?
I have growth to do in the area of believing that I can really do more. I'll explain. So how I got the salon, like I never went to business school. So I didn't want a salon because of those reasons. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And, but God had connected me with this lady who was business savvy. So she helped me to a certain extent. And he has been literally carrying me for up until now. And I started the business not knowing much, and as I'm going, I'm learning as I go certain things. And some things I still don't know. So when he started showing me now a school, I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta learn this. Like, I still haven't learned this. So how am I gonna jump from this to this? And now I'm in a season where I have to learn this. He's like, okay, I have more, but I gave you grace and mercy. Okay. Wow. But now, sis, let's go. I need you to buckle down. I need you to learn. I need you to stretch for this next season, because how you've been going, you can't go that way to this next season. So it was me believing that I can do this next season. It's a struggle.
and this next season is the transition from just salon owner to education.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, are there, for you, like, what are when it comes to mentors in any industry, right? Many of the entrepreneurs in different spaces, everybody talks about having a mentor in the space as you grow. For you, how do you approach that? Like, do you have like identified mentors locally in the industry? Do you like just follow people online? Like where do you kind of glean your mentor wisdom, so to speak, in this industry?
I've never had a mentor.
Okay.
And I've always wanted one.
Okay. What are some of the things specifically for you in your industry you think you would look for or need in a mentor?
I definitely thought I needed someone to, just walk with me through the steps of, getting my LLC and all the tax parts of having a business. Just encouragement, because this industry can be cutthroat. Like, this industry can be a bully. So just somebody that I can go to and talk to when I'm not feeling like, this season, when I feel like the season is hard, or things are not going the way I planned, or just to encourage me. So, like, for the girls that work with me, I lacked someone walking with me even through school, because that's hard as an adult, right? Going back to school full time was hard. Yeah. So I didn't have anybody I missed quite a bit of school, so I ended up graduating a little bit later. But I didn't have anybody around me to, like, reassure me that, listen, we have a goal here. Like, don't go in there and let people distract you. Let's get them licenses. This is what I do for my girls, the girls that are in cosmetology school. So I know what it's like to get in there with other women. And then, you know, full time, when you really want to work, you want to make money. Yeah. So you have to sacrifice that and focus on getting your license. And it's difficult. I didn't have anybody by my side to do that. So I was doing a lot of going to the left, a lot of going to the right, a lot of stuff that I could have graduated faster. Yes. And then going into the business side, I did have somebody in the beginning, but that relationship quickly severed as soon as I got into my salon. So now I'm back by myself again. Okay. But God was with me, and I felt like, okay, this is going the way He wanted to go. Forget what I want. Forget what I want.
Forget about it. I came across earlier today this quote. Anytime you see something on social media, you can't believe everything you read or see. Right. But are you, by any chance, do you happen to be a fan of Elon Musk or feel any way about him as a person, either way, as a business person?
I mean, from what I've heard, I don't follow
Some people don't have an opinion about him at all.
Yeah, I don't really follow him, but I think he's genius.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if for nothing else, he's successful. He's good at what he does. Right. But apparently, so I came across like a post that said this is one of his quotes. Again, I don't know if this is true, but someone asked him apparently, like, for entrepreneurs who need encouragement, what would you say for entrepreneurs who need encouragement? And apparently the quote was something to the effect of, I tell them not to be an entrepreneur. If you need encouragement, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. And I kind of read some more. I guess the sentiment was, when you're hungry, do you need encouragement to eat? No, you'll do anything you need to do. Figure out a way to eat because you're hungry.
Yeah, it's true.
So I guess the sentiment is like, that's how entrepreneurship is. You have to actually want it bad enough. You know that you want it. And when you don't have it or have the whatever you're reaching for or striving for, you do whatever it's necessary because you're hungry. So, I mean, what's your take on that? How do you feel about that?
I think that is what sets us apart. Because regardless to whether I wanted encouragement or not, it didn't matter if I had it or not. I still went and did whatever I needed to do. And I could have just wanted encouragement because I felt like I'm supposed to have encouragement. Maybe. But I think
that's a human thing that everybody wants, right?
You want people to support you.
I think it speaks to the comfort we're all looking for. You all want to feel some degree of assurity and comfort along this hard journey.
It's true.
Right? And
it's true. Yep. So I think that sets us apart. The ones who are going to go and by any means make it happen with or without support and
encouragement,
mentorship or whatever. Like, I didn't have a mentor, but I went out there and just did whatever I had to do to make it work.
I mean, how do you feel about people who say, you know what, I haven't started yet, or this vision or thing I got that I felt was dropped in my spirit. I haven't done this because I don't know all the pieces. So I'm waiting until I get all the pieces and I know everything I need to start. They justify it by saying start properly. What do you say to people who say, hey, that's why I'm stalling right now? It's because I'm trying to plan properly, right? So, I mean, we all value a measure of planning. Right? So, I mean, what do you say to someone who has that as kind of their hang up?
Well,
but I'm trying to just plan right, LaTonya.
Yeah. Plans fail. Like, so what happens when you think you have the plan and then you start and this goes completely a different way? You gotta have a level of faith. You gotta have a level of faith. Majority of people never see the end product. Like, they never see the end product. And if you wait for the end product, you will never start. Just take one step.
I mean, it reminds me of just what you shared about just a piece of your journey with doing the hair out of the house. Like someone would say, you know what, that's not proper. That's not the way you should. That's not professional. Yep. So until I could find a friend who has their own building and I could work out of a professional, in quotes, place, I'm not going to start yet. And then you have people like yourself that just jump off the cliff, even if the parachute isn't completely together yet.
Yes. I have to take it back to really, because everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. Some people will start out of their home, and some people won't start out of their home. And I don't recommend everybody start like I started. And
you ain't even start out of your home. You started out of somebody else's home.
Right, exactly.
I can't believe it.
So I don't recommend you go start out of nobody else's home, but that's crazy. But because I like I said, everybody's journey is very different, and God's plan for you is His plan for you. But that's who you got to seek to find out, how do you start. Like, wow. You're gonna have to ask the person who knows every single thing. Like, how do I start? That wouldn't have been my ideal start. I'm tying your touch. Like,
she said, I'm tying your touch. I'm tying your too pretty touch times 2.
Listen, that wouldn't have been my ideal. You know what I'm saying? I'm over the top. I've always been like that. I'm over the top.
Yes.
I'm
perfectionist,
do it right or don't do it at all. That's me.
Wow.
But
really,
God had to humble me. I mean,
talk about it.
He did a number on me.
Talk about the humble pie.
Yeah, let's go, ma'am.
The humble pie. Fighting through the perfectionist in all of us, the super planner in all of us. Getting a piece of that humble pie will definitely help you get past that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you were honest and said you're not giving this as a prescription for everybody to do it this way, per se. But I'm curious, why do you say that? Like, if it worked for you, the line of reasoning could be, well, then Tanya, what's wrong with me to do it? It worked for you.
Well, everybody's journey is unique. Everybody's journey is unique.
Is there something that you would do, knowing everything from the end now, like everything behind you, if you could go back to the beginning from the starting line, would you have done anything different?
So if I could go back, one, if I would have known what I know now about cosmetology, I would have done cosmetology school before going to Southern for social work.
As far as from the time you get the call to say, leave Atlanta, come to Connecticut.
Okay.
So you come to Connecticut. The minute you touch down in Connecticut, you do anything different? If you could go back to that point in time. You just arrived in Connecticut.
In my situation?
Yeah.
Well, I really didn't have many options. I mean, I did go to a salon. I just didn't stay in the salon.
Would you have stayed?
No.
No?
No, because...
You still feel like that was the best?
Yeah, because I wasn't... if my clientele was building the way I thought it was going to, then of course I would have stayed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't building, and I needed to be able... I didn't need overhead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't known... Some people knew I did hair, but I wasn't known for hair. So now I'm coming back with a whole new... People knew me for dance. Okay. So now I'm coming back to why I do hair. Oh. With a million hairstylists that been in the business for 20 years. You know what I mean? I'm like, nobody's going to let me put my hands in their hair.
They used to know me as Tanya Two-Step. Okay. Now I'm Tanya Touch.
Right. So I'm like, if my clientele was building... I absolutely would have stayed in the salon.
Yeah. You did what had to be.
It was my circumstances.
That's what I had to do.
Yeah.
Got you. Hey, well, as we wind down to the end of our show, we like to end with giving, as the show states, free food for your soul, like the way food edifies the body. We'd love for our guests to share something as a takeaway for the audience to edify their soul with. Whether it's something that you've already mentioned or something that just new comes to your mind. For the different varying spaces in their journey our listeners are as entrepreneurs, as creatives, what's something that you want people to walk away with today to edify their soul?
Well, I would love people to understand that there is a plan. And in order to really execute that plan, you have to talk to your creator about the plan for your life.
Yeah.
So don't leave him out. He has the plan.
He has the plan.
And you won't know every step, but he knows the end.
Hey, let the people know where they can find you on social media, website, or wherever. How can they get in touch with you?
So you can hit me up on Facebook at LaTonya Daniels-Jackson. Also, our Only One Touch Beauty Experts page on Facebook. Instagram is Only One Touch Beauty Expert. TikTok is The Tanya Touch. Okay. And our website is onlyoneTouchBeautyExperts.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Tanya, for being on the Free Lunch Podcast.
Thank you.
Free food for your soul. Thank you so much. Till next time, y'all. Peace.